Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on a live time report from the Royal Rumble. There's Mark Logan said in the following as he attended the Royal Rumble in Pittsburgh this last Sunday. He arrived around 7 p.m. and they started letting people in at the same time. And the crowd was pretty pumped up, already watching or waiting in the cold to get in. Loud "Let's Go Cena, Cena Sucks" chants outside the arena. And they found their seats pretty quickly, and they were sitting on the lower bowl, right below the WrestleMania 30 sign, and right off to the side of the kickoff panel. And Michael Cole was already at the announcer table when they got into the arena. At the start of the show, Justin Roberts introduced the announced team. JBL made his entrance to a good reaction, followed by Jerry the King Lawler, who received a nice pop, followed by Jerry chants. The New Age Outlaws were over huge in the Pittsburgh crowd. They received a loud pop, and everyone was into the introduction, as they do all as well. The title change was very unexpected, but everyone around him loved it. It's going to be interesting to see where the New Age Outlaws go from there. And the reporter said he realized how impressive the yes chants were still going on. Being there in the crowd, pumping his arms along with Daniel Bryan and chanting the yes along with the entire console center is something that he will never forget anytime soon. Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt was easily the best match of the night as far as he sees it. The Rumble itself was a blast, but as far as the in-ring action, I have to go with the Daniel Bryan-Bray Wyatt match. Everyone was really into the back and forth action and the near falls. Also, didn't know it came across on TV, but was not a nice sized holy shit chant for both Daniel Bryan's running tornado DDT off the apron as well as Bray Wyatt's sister Abigail into the barricade. Also, this is awesome chants multiple times throughout the match. Everyone was disappointed that Bryan didn't pick up the win. However, I feel they were more accepting of it because everyone assumed that he would be in the Rumble later that night, which he was not. The feeling that I got from the crowd was that not too many people cared one way or another regarding the Brock Lesnar versus Big Show match. The crowd seemed more quiet there than they ever did for anything else in the show. The F5 on Big Show got a good reaction, but that was basically it. During the post-show beatdown, the people around me were asking if we could just have the Rumble now, not even paying attention to the Lesnar and Big Show near the end of the segment. Though a small group of people tried to start up a one more chair chant, it was very funny. The crowd was pissed when they started to air the Hewitt Jackson commercial during the event. Yeah, a commercial during a pay-per-view. Both John Cena and Randy Orton had major heat going away with it. And my friend that attended the event with me was in complete shock over the crowd reaction during the WWE Heavyweight Championship match because he had never seen anything like that before. I sided with the crowd on that one. The chants that got started throughout the Cena and Orton match, including Daniel Bryan at least 4 times, "We want Angle," "Randy Savage," "Y2J, you both suck," "This is awful," "We want Divas," and last but not least, "In this match." The crowd was more entertained by the wave that they got going during the match over anything that Cena and Orton did in the ring. The most positive reaction in the match that the match received was when Wyatt family glitched during occurred and the place went dark. Once the match ended, loud Borgasm yes chants echoed throughout the arena because the match was finally over. After the match went, the Wyatts were dismantling Cena. They were treated like heroes. The crowd absolutely loved it and made it known with their "Thank you, Wyatts" chant. Finally, it was time for the Rumble. The crowd popped for Justin Roberts when it was announced it was time for the match. Superstars that received the largest pops during the match were CM Punk, Dolph Ziggler, and Sheamus. Other notable spots during the Rumble that got a positive reaction was Alexander Rusev's debut. Looked like a younger Big Show. Yeah, back when he had the curly hair. And the crowd was impressed with his initial flurry. Also, Kofi Kingston's leap from the barricade when Alexander Rusev toted him out the ring onto the barricade. And then Antonio Cesaro's swing on Seth Rollins. 27 rotations as the reporter counted. I think I counted like 29 myself. Everyone crapped all over Rey Mysterio during his entrance because he wasn't Daniel Bryan. The reaction to the match went pretty sour from there. Punk getting eliminated, and that the way he did was seeming coming from a mile away. So predictable because you could see Kane hiding ringside throughout almost the entire match. There was one point when he even got up and moved to another corner of the barricade to hide from a camera view. The arena was begging for Roman Reigns to win the Rumble. We didn't get Bryan like we wanted, and everyone hated the idea of Batista winning the Rumble. When Roman Reigns was tossed out, everyone just crapped all over Batista. And from where I can tell, as far as when the pay-per-view went off the air, based on Jason Powell, another reporter from ProWrestling.net, shortly after the show ended, Batista posed for a little bit longer on the turnbuckle, mouthing to the crowd and doing a finger gesture. I'm going to WrestleMania, deal with it. I'm going to go back on top rope. Inside the ring, I should say. After that, he got out of the ring and started to head back up the ramp. He shook hands with a lot of people at ringside. But there was one guy in a CM Punk t-shirt that got Batista's middle finger right in his face. He must have said something big, the big guy didn't like. Once Batista reached the top of the ramp, he turned around and raised his hands in victory. Then he took a bow and followed that up with trying to make a mock yes chant as the crowd crapped on him even more for it. Then Justin Roberts thanked everyone for coming, and they would be announcing that they would be in Pittsburgh again in June for a SmackDown taping, and for everyone to drive safe going back home. Overall, the reporter had a blast at the show. It was his first Rumble, and counting down to each entrant was a blast along with yes chants. Along with Bryan, I am definitely concerned now that the direction we are going into Mania, but the experience itself was still fantastic. Second report on the Rumble. Jared Lair attended the Rumble in Pittsburgh and said this. I would like to start off by saying I have been to countless wrestling events over the years. However, this was the first pay-per-view live. My favorite pay-per-view of all time, and it fell directly on my birthday. My excitement couldn't be tamed until I watched the crap fest that was a 2014 Royal Rumble unfold live before my very eyes. I wasn't alone in my disappointment, and I am sure that the viewers at home were able to hear. Bray Wyatt vs. Daniel Bryan was an unbelievable match and a hell of a way to start a pay-per-view. Bray came out looking like a stud, catching Bryan and his sister Abigail on the outside the counter. The suicide dive will be etched in my memory forever. The crowd was hot to the entire match, and rightfully so. Daniel Bryan is beyond over. Brock Lesnar defeating the Big Show with 702 chair shots in what seemed like 45 minutes. The crowd couldn't have cared less about the outcome. The only real pop was for Paul Heyman's endless supply of chairs. WWE World Heavyweight title match was really held the crowd's attention as they were on the edge of their seats waiting for the next exciting sequence of moves by each illustrious superstar. By that, I mean the crowd chanted for the following. Daniel Bryan about 14 times. JBL. Y2J. Cena sucks. This is boring. You both suck. Also a fairly impressive wave broke out. The ending near falls did finally get the fans' attention, and the unexpected Bray Wyatt attack on Cena had a lot of fans talking. The Royal Rumble match itself was pretty much a letdown as well. Everyone knew Punk would be the star for most of the match, but no one believed he would win. He got his second biggest pop of the night easily when Kane botched his return to screw Punk by destroying the barricade when he tried to sneak back to ringside. He was also about half an hour early. Kofi's jump was impressive, but nothing compared to his previous stunts. Nash got a huge reaction. Batista winning drew tremendous heat, and the crowd was empathetic behind Roman Reigns. The lack of Daniel Bryan really infuriated the fans even more. Afterwards, Batista started bad-mouthing the crowd, and then finally started up the ramp. Halfway up, he stopped and was interacting with a fan that he flipped him the bird. And 2 minutes of jawing, Batista returned with a gesture with a bird of his own and continued to walk up the ramp of shame. The crowd was pissed from start to finish and made sure that WWE heard about it. This may have been the worst booking I have ever seen since becoming a wrestling fan over 20 years ago. WWE really took a step backwards instead of looking to the future with its Rumble winner. It was depressing. Even the merchandise stands sucked, unless you want Cena's terrible shirt, a fake Daniel Bryan beard, or Rey Mysterio's newest mask or shirt combination, or abomination. If you want to see CM Punk or Ziggler gear, only one of 10 merchandise stands may have had one item available, and it was sold out almost immediately. WWE announced that they were returning to Pittsburgh in June for SmackDown. It would be a lot of work on their part to get me to spend on their product again. And now for the actual Rumble itself results. It aired live on pay-per-view. We chose a different site so we can get on a big screen that we normally pull up. Pretty good on this particular one. They had a couple of intermittent internet screw-ups where it would just buffer for quite a while. Josh Matthews opened the show with images of the crowd in Pittsburgh. He was joined by Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Shawn Michaels, and Ric Flair. Hope Matthews still has a fair job after this. Michaels said that the strategy of winning the Rumble was not getting up and thrown over the top rope. Flair said it was keeping in mind that this could be a career-making moment. Hacksaw said that his strategy was fire, ready, and aim. The panel highlighted the kickoff match for the tag title before tossing it to Renee Young, as Renee said any of the guys could come join her on the couch. Flair promptly snatched his headset off and was headed. Okay, she invited them, but Flair didn't leave. But he wanted to, as Young read some tweets and sent it back to Matthews. As Matthews narrated a series of video clips that recapped John Cena versus Randy Orton, the panel made their picks as the announce team made their ring entrances behind them. Backstage, Vicky and Brad Maddox ran the hopper for Rumble spots. Alberto Del Rio was happy with this, as was Kofi Kingston and the Real Americans. R-Truth was not. Damien Sandow laughed at Khali's number, but Khali laughed even harder at Sandow's. No, they didn't reveal any numbers, but I'm thinking Sandow might be number 2. We'll see. The panel hyped Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt as the opening match. Michael said it never kicked anyone in the face he didn't respect, so he was picking Wyatt. Flair went with Wyatt, and I missed Duggan. The Outlaws made their entrance and were off to the pre-show main event only match, dark match. And the Road Dogg did his full shtick. Cody Rhodes and Goldust versus the New Age Outlaws for the tag titles. Road Dogg and Cody started, and our team talked up a conspiracy idea of how the Outlaws got their title shot. Cody tossed both guys to the floor. Goldust hit a rough dive on Road Dogg on the floor, and Cody dove off on Billy. A break and a pay-per-view pre-show match at a minute 25 seconds in. On the commercial, after the commercial, the ref was keeping the Outlaws away from Goldust, who appeared to be legitimately hurt. The ref finally let them go again, and the heels got heat on Goldust. Then the feed died on WWE.com by the time that they kind of came back. On the YouTube part, Billy Gunn hit the famous Earl Cody for the win. With only a 6-minute, 16-second match. So your winners and new Tag Team Championship holders and 6-time winners, the New Age Outlaws. Wait, what? Unless this is getting the titles away from the Rose Boys so they can feud at Mania? That's a terrible idea, even if this This is not a good idea. The Outlaws have legs. It's not a nostalgia act. But putting the titles on them is a waste. The Rumble by the Numbers video aired. Duggan's pick for the Rumble was Dolph Ziggler. HBK picked The Shield. And Flair picked Batista. As they did a replay, as Daniel Bryan was shown walking backstage to close the kickoff 30-minute show. Rumble starts, and we start off with the hyping of the Rumble and the title match. Daniel Bryan makes his entrance to a thunderous reaction. The Wyatts were out next with a weird reaction. And the crowd didn't boo per se, but they got to get the feeling that they were still over. Video recap with the cage incident between Bray and Daniel. Daniel Bryan versus Wade Bryant, and Wyatt talked to himself before the bell and yelled at Bryan as the crowd split. Yes, Daniel Bryan, and with every strike that Bryan hit early in the match drew a yes chant. Bryan dove on Luke Harper after a distraction. The ref saw Rowan and grabbed Bryan, so he ejected both Harper and Rowan. Wyatt attacked Bryan from behind and told his men that he didn't need to fight for this one, and they finally left. And Bryan dove on Bray on the floor. Wyatt chopped off Bryan to the rope to give him and gain back control. The announce team mentioned rumors about Bryan having a concussion. Wyatt went to the floor, but Bryan avoided him and slammed him into the stairs and sold his left leg injury. Bray get back to the ring, and Bryan went to work on the leg. When he got back in, Bryan curved, stomped Bray in a nice looking spot, and then hit a kick on the leg in the corner. He tried a suplex, but Bryan dragged him out to the apron and slammed Bryan's arm onto the apron and took control. Wyatt dragged Bryan over the corner and set his head against the ring post. Wyatt went to the floor and hit elbows into the side of the head and then clotheslined against the post. Wyatt hit a senton on the floor and said, "I tried to tell him." He yelled, "Why didn't you help him?" at the crowd before rolling back Bryan in the ring. Wyatt continued to work on the head and neck in the ring and did his weird spider crawl, bent backwards crawl thing before hitting his corner splash. And Bryan started his comeback, but was shut down by throwing his body at Bryan. And then Bryan ducked a charging Bray, who fell to the floor. Bryan hit a tornado DDT from the apron and hit the drop kick against the barricade. Bryan hits a missile drop kick back in the ring, followed by the yes kicks for 2 count. Bryan hit back and forth corner kick, drop kicks, and charged for a third, but Bray turned him inside out with a clothesline. He went for Sister Abigail, but Bryan slipped out and hooked his yes lock. Bray bit Bryan's hand to break the hold and rained punches on him. And the finish sees Wyatt setting Bryan on the top rope and climbed up. They battled, and Bray fell to the mat. Bryan hit top rope splash, which set up for the running knee. But Wyatt pounded to the floor, and Bryan went to dive on him, and Wyatt caught him with a Sister Abigail into the barricade. And then he rolled him back in the ring and hits another Sister Abigail for the win. 21-minute, 35-second match. Holy shit, that was great. Bray Wyatt looked like an absolute killer, and Daniel Bryan can absorb the loss. Wrote this in my notes. Backstage, Renee Young interviewed Paul Heyman, who said Brock Lesnar would victimize Big Show. Ben Roethlisberger was shown in the crowd. The panel was introduced, and then they discussed the Show versus Lesnar match. The show made his entrance as a video recapping his feud with Lesnar. Lesnar was out next with Paul Heyman and attacked Show before the match even started. Lesnar beat down Show with a chair, and no matter how many times he pushed Lesnar away, Lesnar came storming back with a chair and more strikes. Lesnar yelled at the ref to ring the bell, and he wouldn't do it. The ref got rid of one chair, but Heyman handed Lesnar another chair. Show made it back to his feet, and the ref finally made the bell. Big Show versus Brock only lasted 2 minutes, 2 seconds. After that, Lesnar charged at Show with a chair, and Show hits the knockout punch. Show sold the beating, and Lesnar dragged himself to the floor. Show followed him to the floor and tossed him around. He rolled Lesnar back in the ring, set up for the knockout punch again, but Lesnar ducked and hit the F5 for the win. After the match, Lesnar sold the knockout punch a little, and then grabbed a chair again and beat on Show some more, and then finally rolled to the floor, and then Lesnar followed with another 50 chair shots or so, until the chair broke. Heyman tossed Lesnar another chair. He broke that one on Show too. The ref tried to step in. Lesnar shoved him to about 10 feet out of the way. Lesnar continued to beat down on the show until it reached Bret Hart versus Vince McMahon levels of uncomfortable. Lesnar and Heyman finally slipped out, and then they went to a commercial again. These two were in a tough spot, considering what they had to follow. I like that they did consider that spot. The logic was good, and it was different from what has opened the show. The post-match beatdown went a little too long, but otherwise pretty decent. Better than fearing when I saw it was where it was going. Also, 2 commercials already in the pay-per-view. That was the failing part. Backstage, Shield cuts a promo on facing 27 other superstars. They said they would eliminate everyone else until there were only 2 left. They were left. Rollins said when the Rumble was over, no matter which one of them won, they would still stand together. Reigns said he had the winning number, which means a higher number, like 27, 28, 29, 30. Ambrose asked him what his number was. Reigns wouldn't say, and they devolved into bickering. As Rollins cut in and calmed him down, Renee Young interviewed Orton backstage. She started asking him about Cena, and Orton blowing it off as him having beat Cena many times. Young said a bunch of people were lining up, including Bray Wyatt, Batista, and Brock Lesnar. Orton said none of them were great like him, and tonight he would prove Cena wasn't either. A WrestleMania logo showed as it is 70 days away. Video recapping the Cena versus Orton feud, and WWE added a table-breaking sound for Cena's missed table spot at TLC. Orton and Cena made their entrance in that order, and Lillian Garcia handled old-school ring introductions. And for those that don't know, Lillian signed a new WWE deal. Randy Orton versus John Cena for the Heavyweight Championship. Daniel Bryan champ broke out, followed by competing Cena. Cena sucks champs. Then back to Bryan. Orton got heat early on as Pittsburgh thought it was the night after WrestleMania and hijacked the show. They chanted for several people, and Orton played to them a little. He hooked a chin lock in and chanted, "Boring," himself. The crowd continued to do what they wanted, and Orton started to yell back. Cena scooped him up and teased an attitude adjustment, but Orton escaped and hit a DDT. Orton did the garbage stomp and played to the crowd in the corner. Cena picked him up and hit an electric chair for a 2 count. Cena started the 5 moves of doom, 2 heavy boos. Orton kicked Cena when he did. "You can't see me," and hit the power slam for 2. And this is where they went back and forth with doing their moves. Even Cena hitting the draping DDT. Orton tried for it himself, hung the DDT, but Cena tossed him to the floor. Cena ran over, and Orton dragged him onto the apron and then nailed the DDT himself on Orton. Orton rolled him up inside the ring, set up the RKO. Cena ducked away and hooked on the STF finisher. Orton made the ropes break the hold, and then hits a hangman on Cena. Orton slid back in the ring, and Cena hit the 5-knuckle shuffle. He lifted for the attitude adjustment as the ref got kicked. Ref bump. Orton escaped, but Cena locked in the STF. No referee. Orton tapped as Cena let go to find the ref. Orton grabbed the title belt as the ref still wasn't awake, and he nailed Cena with it as the ref was still out. The ref finally recovered, only to get a 2 count. "This is awful," chant broke out. As Orton intimidated the ref in the corner, Cena popped up and hit an attitude adjustment for a near fall. Cena pulled Orton to his feet and hit an RKO for a 2 count. The crowd chanted, "We want divas," and then Orton posed for them. The announce team tried to cover as the crowd tried to get into Orton's head. It didn't come across as believable. Cena lifted for another attitude adjustment as Orton escaped again and hooked on a modified STF on Cena. Again, trading signature moves and finishers. Cena powered out and hooked on a crossface. A new move from Cena. Orton rolled him up and Cena broke the hold. Orton hits the attitude adjustment on Cena for a 2, an unexpected spot. Orton stood Cena up and and Cena hits the RKO for a 2 count himself. That one was more expected. They ended up on the top rope, man. Cena hits a nasty looking move that dropped Orton on his face. Cena locked into STF and Orton crawled to the ropes. Cena broke the hold and dragged Orton back to the center of the ring and he rehooked the hold. Orton teased tapping out when Wyatt come in as the lights go out and then went off. And they came back on. The Wyatts were already on the apron surrounding the ring. The ring, I should say. Cena dropped Bray and Orton hits the RKO off the distractor for the win. 20 minutes and 54 seconds. After the match, Orton left the crowd to avoid the Wyatts. The Wyatts entered the ring and beat down Cena. Bray finished off hitting Sister Abigail on Cena after yelling, "Behold, creator of the new world." The crowd chanted yes for him afterwards. Well, give the devil their due. I never saw that coming. I'm a little confused after all the old school. There will be a winner. Stuff from the authority that there will be no interference. But I guess we will see where that goes. This match itself was simply okay. The bad part is I'm not sure where this leaves the Rumble. My fear is this means Batista wins. Of course, lots of people predicted Batista win. Renee Young interviews the New Age Outlaws after a video showed how they won the tag titles earlier on the pre-show. They did half babyface, half heel stick, and then said that they were going to party. They invited some people to party, but and some people not. Video hyping the Elimination Chamber on February 23rd with CM Punk as the only one shown in one of the chambers. And the date is February 23rd. A video, if not, of the announced Rumble participants saying they would be winning the Rumble. The panel discussed the Rumble one final time and they repeated their picks as Flair looked more drunk than ever. CM Punk made his entrance as number 1 and Seth Rollins was number 2 to start the match. Damian Sandow was number 3 and the Hills ganged up on Punk. Cody was number 4 to even out the odds. Sandow ran Punk and Punk tossed him. Sandow was eliminated. Kane was number 5 unannounced. Kane ran out on his with his office clothes and took his shirt off. He took Cody out with a kick and went to work on Punk. Kane teased choke slamming, but Punk hit the round cast kick and eliminated Kane. Kane was eliminated. Alexander Rusev and NXT rookie was number 6 and pounded everyone. Swagger was number 7, squared off with Rusev. Kofi Kingston was number 8, leaving 6 men in the ring. Jimmy Uso was number 9, Goldust number 10, a group teamed together to eliminate Rusev. As Rusev came back in and with 13 minutes 52 seconds, Kofi was tossed by Rusev somewhat, but he was eliminated. He was on the guardrail. Rusev set Kofi on the rail on his knees, and the ref chased Rusev off, and Kofi recovered and jumped the railing back to the ring. Ambrose was number 11, unannounced. Dolph Ziggler was number 12. As he got a chant from the crowd, R-Truth was 13 and was immediately eliminated by 2 of the Shield members. He was also immediately eliminated. R-Truth was eliminated 18 minutes 11 seconds. Jimmy Uso climbed the top rope and was kicked off by Rollins. Jimmy Uso was eliminated at 18 minutes 30 seconds. Big Kev Nash was number 14 and he was eliminated by Swagger. Swagger was eliminated by Big Kev at 19 minutes 57 seconds. Roman Reigns was number 15 and came in like a beast. Kofi tried for Trouble in Paradise on him and Reigns caught him and eliminated him. Kofi was eliminated 21 minutes 47. Reigns hit Ziggler with a spear and tossed him. Dolph Ziggler was eliminated 22-15. Reigns clotheslined Nash over for a quick hat trick. Nash was eliminated 22 minutes 23 seconds. Great Khali was number 16 and he was quickly dumped by several members of the Shield, primarily Reigns, mostly. Great Khali was eliminated 23 minutes 39 seconds out of nowhere. Goldust eliminated Cody, only to be eliminated by Reigns. Basically, it could have been a double push off. And Cody was eliminated 24:03 and Goldust at 24:05. Sheamus made his return at number 17 and took down the Shield by himself, hitting a brogue kick on Reigns. Miz entered at number 18 with no real impact. Fandango entered at 19. As Pittsburgh Fandango with him, Miz was almost eliminated quickly, but Fandango fought out of it. El Torito was number 20, and he eliminated Fandango. Kill Me Now, Fandango was eliminated at 30 minutes 34 seconds. Torito dove on Reigns, but the big man caught him and tossed him onto Fandango. El Torito was eliminated at 30 minutes 53 seconds. This was a real fast rumble, as they always announce 2-minute intervals, which did not happen. It was mainly about a minute in for every one of them. As Antonio Cesaro was number 21. He did a short Cesaro swing on Miz, followed by a longer one that lasted until Luke Harper entered at 22. Jey Uso enters at 23. Cesaro took a nasty boot from Harper just before JBL entered from the announce table at 24. Coleslaw says that, I quote, "The JBL character has never entered a Royal Rumble." Well, cue for JBL, as JBL called Cole over to get his jacket, and Reigns eliminated JBL. But JBL was eliminated at 36 minutes 36 seconds. Eric Rowan enters at 25. He and Harper teamed up to toss Miz and Jey Uso. Miz was eliminated at 38 minutes 10 seconds. Jey Uso was eliminated 39 seconds later. Ryback enters at 26 with no impact. Sheamus killed Cesaro with a forearm. Del Rio entered at 27. The spot with the most wins. He had no eliminations before Batista entered at 28 to a huge pop. Batista immediately tossed Rowan. Eric Rowan was eliminated 42 minutes 34 seconds. Ryback and Batista had a brief stare-down fight that Batista won. Ryback was eliminated 43 minutes 2 seconds. Del Rio kicked Batista from the knees and tried to hook on the armbreaker, but Batista powered up and tossed Del Rio. Alberto was eliminated at 43 minutes 31 seconds. Mickey Langston entered at 29. The crowd chanted for Bryan just before the countdown, and Rey Mysterio was number 30. And the crowd rained boos on him for not being Daniel Bryan. Seriously, the crowd turned huge and began to boo the entire match. Holy shit, Pittsburgh was pissed. Looked up and Langston was rolling across the floor. Big E was eliminated at 46 minutes 39 seconds. Ray was eliminated by Rollins with a big cheer. Rey Mysterio was eliminated at 47 minutes 30 seconds in. Harper was tossed by Reigns, and Ambrose tried to eliminate Roman. Luke Harper was eliminated 48 minutes 6 seconds. Ambrose and Rollins argued as Cesaro tried to eliminate them both as he failed. Reigns walked up and tossed all three of them out. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Antonio Cesaro were eliminated at 48 minutes and 30 seconds. That was my prediction, as them being in all at the same time. Well, Kane comes back in and pulled Punk over the top rope for his elimination. And how many Rumbles have that happened, and they always allowed the illegal member to come back in? Well, this didn't happen. They eliminated him. Those eliminations always piss me off for the lack of logic. CM Punk was eliminated at 49 minutes 10 seconds. Kane beat up Punk and chokeslammed him through the Spanish announce table. Batista tossed Sheamus to the apron, which Roman Reigns kicked him off to break the record with 12 eliminations. Sheamus was eliminated at 52 minutes 48 seconds. The crowd cheered all over Batista and cheered for Reigns. Reigns set up his spear, and the crowd hated on it as Batista did his stomp at the ropes. He turned around and Reigns hit the spear that the crowd popped huge for. And everybody, I had like 5 or 6 people over to watch it myself, and we all were cheering for Roman Reigns too. When Reigns went to eliminate Batista, Batista countered and tossed him over with just a running and tossing him over the top rope for the win. At 55 minutes and 5 seconds, I really don't know what to say, because we literally begged for something new from WWE, and we were denied. The total lack of reaction from Batista's winning, coupled with the complete shitstorm Orton and Cena produced, should be watershed moment for WWE. Alas, I don't think it will. All in all, first half of the show exceeded expectations, while the Rumble itself was shit for nothing. We need to do something. They need to do something massive for WrestleMania right now. And being that CM Punk is no longer with WWE as he walked out on Raw, and I'll give you details on Raw, actually on the SmackDown video, which I will do a little bit later on tonight. I honestly don't think I could care less about seeing the show unless I broadcast it live on YouTube for free and have it done only if I can get 10,000 subscribers. With your help, it can't be done. So if you want this, start spreading the news, and it can be done and accomplished. Thanks for viewing and enjoy your evening. Again, thanks for watching. Peace out.